space open for the people that are speaking, so.
I think the parents can.
Yeah, correct, that's what, yeah.
They the main.
Right, correct. If I can get you at the end here. Wendy and Armando, April, you come up with us. And we can start filling. I'm so sorry.
Yep, everybody come in.
Yeah. We can get everybody that's going to come in, and then we'll. Good afternoon. My name is Andy Kahn. I'm Director of Victim Services, Victim Advocacy of Crime Stoppers of Houston. You know, I wish I could say, you know, we're welcome that everybody's here, but today is not a day for that. Today is an extremely difficult day, and it's difficult for us at Crime Stoppers. It's difficult for the District Attorney's Office. It's difficult for law enforcement. It's difficult for the people of Harris County that have grown to know and love the Alvarez family. And as you can see by the support that we have here, it's overwhelming. And as I've gotten to know Armando, Wendy, April, and other members of their family, they've become near and dear to my heart. Today's decision by the grand jury obviously was not something we were expecting. It's almost like when I found out, I felt like I got sucker punched, seriously. And I've been doing this for a long time. And my heart goes out to this family for the tragic loss of their sweet, dear 9-year-old Arlene, who was never asked to be put in this situation. And she is everybody's daughter. She is anybody's daughter. She is any of us, anywhere, anytime in Harris County. I don't know what happened, but what I do know today is that we are announcing an up to a $30,000 reward. That's an up to a $30,000 reward for any information leading up to the arrest of the suspect that started this whole chain of events that led us to where we are today. None of this happens without this person trying to rob somebody of their property. That's the person we are focusing on. And something tells me this isn't his first dog and pony show doing this. So we're asking everybody here, the public, to look at this family, look at this sweet 9-year-old girl, and we know somebody out there knows something. And it's time that you do come forward. And we're giving you up to 30,000 reasons to come forward. They have done so much for this community with so many other victims' families. They drove down to Uvalde when the school children were murdered to offer comfort and support. 2 weeks ago, we were at a press conference together at the Houston Police Department on the senseless murder of a 5-year-old girl. Now it's their turn to ask you, the public, for help. Help all of us today, and let's right what happened today. I'm going to turn it over to our district attorney, Kim Ogg, and she's going to talk about where we are, what we need to do, and again, keep in mind that someone out there is going to step up and do the right thing. 30,000 up to right now. District Attorney.
Thank you, Andy. I'm Kim Ogg, Harris County District Attorney, and I'm here with the Alvarez family to ask for the public's help. Today, we're going to catch a killer. Tony Earls, the shooter in this case, who was himself one of two victims of an intended robbery. His case was presented as the shooter in Arlene's situation. The grand jury, a random group of ordinary people in Harris County who answered their jury summons, heard the evidence in this case as presented by our prosecutors, heard all of the possible charges from murder to manslaughter to aggravated assault to criminally negligent homicide. That grand jury also heard possible defenses: mistake of fact, defense of third person, and protection of property at night. In all these instances, deadly force can be excused under the law. We do not excuse it. It is not up to the prosecutors to make the decision in a case at this point as to whether it should go forward. Every felony charge goes to a grand jury. This case was presented to a grand jury. And today, a grand jury no-billed Tony Earls. This is very hard on the Alvarez family. It is very hard to understand and accept. And what I've asked them to do is work with us to catch the killer. There's a robber out there who started this tragic chain of events. And I'm going to ask our prosecutor for major offenders, one of our top trial lawyers responsible for today's work and the work on many of our high-profile cases, to just briefly discuss the facts of this case. She'll show you a video, and we're going to focus on catching the robbery suspect who started this chain of events. If captured, he will face felony murder charges. The ultimate penalty is life in the Texas Department of Corrections. I know we can find this killer with your help. Someone knows who he is. I also want to take a moment to thank Tillman Fertitta, one of our captains of industry in this country, a local Houstonian who cares about crime victims, who put up $25,000 in this case to find out who that killer is and help us catch that killer. I want to thank, as I always do, Crime Stoppers for offering their reward of up to $5,000 for his capture. Together, Houston, we can solve this crime and we can bring Arlene Alvarez's murderer to justice. We have no further comment about Mr. Earls. I will tell you that it is our practice, unless there's new evidence against Mr. Earls, his case will not be represented. We have received a clear message from our community. They want that killer caught, and that's what we're going to do together. At this time, I'd invite Samantha Connect to the podium to discuss the facts of the crime and explain the video.
Good afternoon. My name is Samantha Connect, and I am the Division Chief of the Major Offenders Division of the Harris County District Attorney's Office. I, along with Seppi Zimmer, have been working on this case since it came in back in February of this year. Back on February 14th, at about 9:30 p.m., Tony Earls, along with his wife, went to the Chase Bank in order to deposit some cash and a check that they had received after working that day. When they went to the Chase Bank, they drove into a drive-through with an ATM and began working on that deposit. As they were working on depositing the money, a man ran up, and he put a gun in the wife's face, who was in the driver's seat, and began demanding their money and their car keys and her wallet. We have this on video. We see Tony Earls and his wife with the gun in their face, and they complying with the robber at that time and handing over property such as the check, the cash, and ultimately her wallet goes to him as well. You see on the video that the robber begins to run away, and Mr. Earls gets out of the vehicle and says that he heard gunshots and believed he was being shot at, and so he fired at that aggravated robber and ended up striking a truck that happened to be driving by at the same time, where Arlene was in the back seat and was struck one time. We have video of the robber running away from that location, and we believe, based on the way that he acted that night, that this was probably not the first time that he did something at this location. We have him on video staking out the location for approximately 20 minutes before he commits the robbery, and then running away and jumping over a fence to a nearby commercial park, where we capture him on video jumping over the gate, which is what you see here in this photograph. So today, the District Attorney's Office is just asking you to help us identify who this man is that started this chain of events, and we believe that he is responsible for the death of Arlene.
Can you explain what we're going to show in the video and invite our investigator up to talk about the suspect?
Our investigator is going to come up with our office, and we have a video here. You'll see this is the robber just after he's left the Chase Bank. He jumps over this nearby surveillance gate. We believe that he's wearing gloves, and you see him wearing a mask. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to my investigator so he can give a description of the man in the video.
And can we freeze the frame? Is it possible to freeze the frame on the face?
Over there.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Armando Temez. I am an investigator with the Harris County District Attorney's Office assigned to the Major Offenders Division. I am not the lead investigator for this case, so my information is limited. However, I do want to provide some of the suspect's descriptors. He appears to be a medium to dark-skinned male, possibly African-American, tall, medium to heavy-set build. Like Chief Connect mentioned, he was wearing gloves and a mask that was partially covering his face. Just based on my experience in investigating cases, including robbery cases and homicides, I have no doubt that this guy here knew what his surroundings were. Probably not his first time. It appears to me that he knew the layout of this neighborhood and this apartment complex, him jumping over that fence. I have no doubt whatsoever that someone in that apartment complex or near that area knows the identity of this person. Maybe not by seeing him, but people talk. Suspects talk. Killers talk. And I have no doubt in my mind that this guy has said something to someone. However small you think that detail is, we urge you to contact Crime Stoppers. We beg you to contact Crime Stoppers. Your calls remain anonymous, 100% anonymous. They will not know your identity. You just give us the information that we need, that the Homicide Division needs, in order to put this killer behind bars. Thank you.
Going to invite the family up. I want to show you some close-ups. We'll make them available to you. Of course, you can zoom in. But even though this killer is masked, someone knows who he is. If this is a relative of yours, if this is somebody you knew socially, if this is somebody from your neighborhood, if this is somebody in your gang, then we're offering up to a $30,000 reward for his identity alone. You know, the tipsters at Crime Stoppers do not make the cases. Evidence makes the cases, but they provide us that one critical link, the person to try and match evidence to. And so with that link, Crime Stoppers has been successful tens of thousands of times. We just need one more. I'd like to invite April. Aguirre up at this time. April has become the spokesperson for the family. April is Arlene's aunt. And I just want to tell the family, it's determination, not verdict. But we have the ability to move forward and to catch the person who they've indicated is criminally responsible. April?
To say that we're disappointed wouldn't be enough. We didn't walk into the criminal courthouse today expecting a verdict. We feel defeated because they so quickly came to a decision that we don't agree with. Arlene was murdered, and we will never get her back. I hope that the person that initiated the robbery understands everything that they took from this family. Arlene will forever be frozen in time as a 4th grader. She will forever be 9. I don't agree with the grand jury, but I do thank the district attorney's office for their work. I want somebody held accountable because this family shouldn't continue to suffer like this. And this is unexplainable pain. Wendy and Armando and the rest of the Alvarez family deserve to have their little girl. She didn't deserve this ending. $30,000, if you morally cannot turn this person in, $30,000 is enough money for you to make that decision and turn this person in. Turn him in, because this family deserves justice. I wish it was Earls that was found guilty, but I know that the decision is final with the grand jury. I pray that you can find this person and bring him to justice, because Arlene didn't want to die. She didn't want to die on a Monday night on her way to dinner. It's also a wake-up call to Houstonians that we live in a very dangerous city. We shouldn't be celebrating 1 or 2% crime decreases, but we need to realize that there's families in forever that are going to be in pain. It's a life sentence that we received. There's no grand jury for us. It's over for us. It was over that night. Please find it in your heart to turn him in.
Buenas tardes, me llamo Rubén Pérez, soy fiscal, trabajo por la Fiscalía de KHOU, la fiscal del condado de Harris. Yo soy supervisario de Samantha Connect, Sammy Zimmer, que trabajamos muy duro en este caso. Ya el gran jurado hizo la decisión, ahora es caminar para adelante para pescar el ratero, el criminal, el que hizo este robo, que comenzó este caso. Le quiero dar gracias a los policías, a los fiscales, y le quiero dar gracias a la familia Álvarez por todo el apoyo y la paciencia que los han dado en este caso. Tengo muchos años de andar en este trabajo y este es un caso que es muy duro. Por favor, si tienen información tocante del que hizo este crimen de robar, de ratero, por favor, les pido de parte de la comunidad, de parte de la Fiscalía de KHOU, de parte de los policías, de parte de la familia más importante, la familia Álvarez, que por favor denuncie, dígalos quién fue el que hizo este crimen, que comenzó este crimen. La recompensa es $30,000 y como dijo April, si no tienes la conciencia si tu religión, tu poder de decirlos quién fue el que hizo este robo, siquiera hazlo por la recompensa de $30,000, por favor. Y como le digo, de parte otra vez, de parte de la familia Álvarez, de parte de Arlene, como dice April, ella todo el tiempo va a ser una niña. Y por favor, díganos quién es alguien, él dijo algo, alguien sabe quién es este malhechor, este delincuente. Y por parte de todos los socios en este trabajo, por favor, llámenlos, díganos quién es el que es culpable de este crimen. Y como le digo, de parte de nosotros, muchas gracias por todo su apoyo, su paciencia, April, por la familia de ustedes. Gracias por todo el apoyo. Y por favor, comunidad, díganos quién fue, por favor. Gracias.
Can you thank Tillman?
Oh, también tenemos que darle las gracias a Fermín Tillman, Fertitta, I'm sorry, Fertitta, to Mr. Fertitta for coming up with the $25,000 reward. Le quiero dar gracias también al señor Fertitta por todo el apoyo y también por la recompensa de $25,000 y también a Crime Stoppers por la recompensa de $5,000. Gracias.
Señor Pérez, ¿cuál vendría siendo los cargos que pudiera enfrentar el sospechoso, la persona que buscan, si lo encuentran? ¿Cómo sería procesado? ¿Sería él acusado por el asesinato?
Sí, fuera acusado.
¿Cuál pudiera ser la pena?
La pena, el rango de castigo fuera de 5 a 99 años o vida y una multa de $10,000. So, el cargo es asesinato. No nomás asesinato, pero robo también agravado. Y el rango de castigo era lo mismo.
¿La decisión de esta mañana del jurado indagatorio es irrefutable, es final?
Sí, el no bail es final, pero si hay una evidencia después que no sabemos, puede ser, pero no, es final. I'm sorry?
Yeah, we'll take questions.
Okay.
No sé si pudiéramos hablar con la familia en español.
Well, we're going to take questions, yeah. We'll take questions afterwards. Just, again, in closing, grief is intensified when justice is lacking. And let me tell you right now, justice is lacking for 9-year-old Arlene Alvarez. And you have our full commitment here at Crime Stoppers, and you've gotten to know all of us so well that you're part of our family here. We're asking again, up to $30,000. Contact us at 713-222-TIPS. Submit a tip online, www.crime-stoppers.org. We have a mobile app available in over 20 languages. We need to hear from you. And always remember, all tipsters are anonymous. But I'm asking you, look at this family, look at Armando, look at Wendy, look at April, look at everybody up here. Death of Arlene has affected so many people. Your family, people of Houston, the people of Harris County, and we need to start sending a message out to people that are doing this, to our children, that you're going to be held accountable. And we're coming after you, and we're going to get you. So at this time, we'll open it up to any questions. Bring.
Understanding the investigators back in February when this occurred, unfortunately, and this surveillance video was released showing the person believed to be the suspect who initiated this robbery. It was said then that there was a search for this person. What is the course of the investigation in that we're still searching for him now? What happened? Why is it that he hasn't been found?
I can answer that. Investigators with HPD have worked this case relentlessly. They aren't here today to explain their actions, but I can tell you they've worked with our Major Offenders Division, if not weekly, daily, to identify this second suspect. When we issue a reward like this, it is not always the first thing we do. We hope that the public will contact us. We hope that through traditional police sources, they will find a person. We hope that there will be physical evidence that gets us a hit in one of the national or local databases. When that doesn't happen, we move to ratchet up the public's interest, because the public is hit with murders every day. Since Arlene's murder, it seems like it's been an endless parade of other children. We have to stop this. The way to stop this is catch the murderers, convict them on the evidence, do it in a fair way, and send them to the penitentiary for life when possible. And that's what I intend to do with this murder. We don't always agree with juries. They're regular people. They see things differently. And I respect our system. It is hard on victims when something like this happens. Mr. Earls is the man who pulled the trigger. Mr. Earls has defenses under law, and there is a process where his case is reviewed like every other person who commits a felony crime, and that's the process that we went through. So when we have a result that's this difficult, we're always looking for other ways to increase the public's interest so that we can find the second suspect.
So does your office think that this was the correct charge, or do you believe this was a mistake?
You know, we bring the evidence. We don't dictate the results. The community dictates the results. It's in my mission statement. We guarantee a fair process, and we present it fairly. They decided. I don't agree with every verdict, and I certainly don't agree with every determination by a grand jury, but I respect our process, and I'm following it. That's my duty.
It's been said during this press conference that based on the video showing this suspect, that you believe that he had potentially done this before, possibly even from this Chase Bank. Throughout the course of this investigation, any previous incidents or robberies taking place there wherein someone who maybe matched some of his particulars came up?
I would have to talk to HPD investigators. Major Offenders Chief Samantha Connect is indicating no, but we have so much crime. It is so prevalent. It is so violent out there. It's possible. I agree with our investigator. He's not a novice. He's deliberately concealing his identity, his DNA, but I think we've got enough of an image. His mother knows who he is. His siblings know, his girlfriends know, his friends know, his fellow gang members, if he's a gang member, know. He's identifiable. Crime Stoppers works. We're here because our community relies upon Crime Stoppers when other traditional efforts fail.
You referred to this person as a killer, Mr. Earls, and I'm not asking you to speak about him, but he was initially charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. One, how is this guy a killer using your words? And two, what would be the charge against him?
The charges that were presented, the charge that was filed was aggravated assault with a deadly weapon causing serious bodily injury, and in this case, death. We knew that there was a defense right from the get-go. Mr. Earls told the police his version of the story and the facts. Parts of it were substantiated by the physical evidence. What was in his mind has to be inferred. This grand jury declined to find that it was a criminal intent that he had, even reckless or criminally negligent. It's hard for this family to accept. It's always hard for us to accept things we disagree with. But that's why we have a system that offers us the opportunity to pursue justice against the person who started this entire criminal episode. That's who our grand jury has basically determined to be criminally responsible. Mr. Earls may face other types of responsibility, and I know But I would not, no one would want to live with this. So he has to live with his actions as well. Yes. Ruben? Or who did you ask? The investigator? Sure, come on up.
¿Tiene una pregunta? Sí, mi nombre es Armando Tamés y yo soy investigador para el fiscal de Harris County.
Sí, le podría decir en español, si no le importa, ¿por qué creen ustedes, usted lo dijo en inglés, pero si nos puede explicar en español, por qué esta persona ya habría cometido crímenes similares en esta zona?
Como dije en inglés, yo no soy el investigador de la división de homicidio que está cargando este caso, pero yo he trabajado homicidios, he trabajado robos con agravantes también cuando trabajaba para el alguacil del condado de Sheriff. Y yo sé de que esta persona tal vez sabía la comunidad esos apartamentos, ese banco. Pienso yo, es nada más mi opinión, de que esta persona tal vez ya había cometido algo así. Y que él, al cometer ese robo y brincar esa cerca que era para los apartamentos, que él conocía ese terreno, esa vecindad. Y como le digo, pensamos de que esta persona tiene el complejo como oscuro, tal vez es afroamericano, tiene su cara cubrida un poco, pero yo sé de que personas que cometen estas clases de crímenes, homicidios, robos, asaltos sexuales con agravantes, estos crímenes, las personas siempre van a hablar, siempre van a decir algo a alguien, le van a comentar a alguien algo, y nosotros le estamos urgiendo al público que si ustedes tienen alguna información acerca de este involucrado, que le hablen a Crime Stoppers. Sus llamadas para Crime Stoppers son completamente anónimas. Nunca vamos a preguntar la identidad de la persona que está hablando a Crime Stoppers, pero nosotros, la familia de esta niña, le estamos rogando al público de que si ustedes vieron algo, oyeron algo, o este involucrado ha dicho algo, que por favor le llamen a Crime Stoppers. La recompensa ya es $30,000. Como le digo, su identidad será completamente anónima. Gracias.
I just wanted to hear maybe from the family again. If you don't have any kind of message at all for Mr. Earls, kind of what's going through y'all's head when you think about this person and where things stand now.
Wendy, can you speak, Wendy?
I've been dragged to be here. And I don't agree with what happened today. I lived that moment, and I go back to that day every night. And I know what happened. And maybe Earls was not accountable for his actions, but he knows with what intentions he did, with what intentions he shot at our vehicle, because self-defense, it's not more than 9 shots. He knew what he was doing, and he knew he was gonna intentionally kill whoever was in that vehicle. It was proven that he never jumped into our vehicle, so I don't understand his innocence. He gets to see the light. My daughter doesn't. My daughter's still dug down underground. I don't know if she's even good spiritually. This is angering. This is aggravating. But one message that I do want to send out to the community: stop shooting into the vehicles. After my daughter's death, it has been shooting after shooting after shooting. What is your point to that? There's a lot of people dying. There's a lot of children dying. Our future is dying. Like, what is wrong with all of you guys? Where is the humanity? Where is your heart? Where is your soul? Why do you have to shoot and kill people? I don't understand. But there's a God, and God is also a judge, and He will take care of everybody that has a wrong people, like wrong-minded people. I didn't agree with what happened today, but I'm going to allow everything to process the way it should be. And please help us look for the person that initiated this person. Estoy de desacuerdo de lo que pasó ahora. No estoy feliz con los resultados. No es lo que nosotros esperábamos en este día. Ahora teníamos la esperanza de que mi hija iba a tener justicia y de que Earls le iban a dar su condena como nosotros pensábamos que se la iban a dar. El sistema nos falló, el jurado no estaba de acuerdo con lo que nosotros pensábamos que se iba a cargar, pero el mensaje que queremos dar es de que la gente debe de ser más humana y debería de parar de disparar a los vehículos, porque después de la muerte de mi niña han muerto muchos niños, mucha gente, y eso antes nunca se miraba. Eso no es normal. Todos nosotros estamos aquí porque no existía esto. Ahorita se está haciendo muy normal todo esto y esto no debería ser la nueva normalidad. Mi realidad no quiero que sea la realidad de otras personas, porque yo vivo ese día todas las noches. Trato de sostenerme fuerte por mis hijos, mi esposo, mi familia, pero es lo más doloroso que uno puede pasar. ¿Por qué? Porque al último, uno no es la víctima es las personas que cometen el crimen. Y eso no está bien. En mis ojos, él es culpable, porque él es el que decidió disparar a mi vehículo múltiples veces y no soltó hasta que se le acabaron las balas. Yo viví esa noche. Yo no me estoy juzgando por lo que dice en el papel o en las cámaras. Nosotros vivimos ese momento. De los dos. La persona que inició el robo y Earls, como también no tuvo la responsabilidad de pensar que pudo matar más de una persona. Porque yo vi cuando se fue el ratero, ya estaba lejos y él decidió todavía disparar a nuestro vehículo. Y en las cámaras enseñan que nunca brincó en mi vehículo, solamente que tuviera poderes invisibles. Y yo no lo pude ver. No estoy de acuerdo. No estoy de acuerdo.
I want to thank you for being here, everyone. My name is Dr. Sergio Lira. I'm a friend of the family first, and I'm also the president of LULAC, who has fought for criminal justice 93 years. And this family deserves justice. They deserve justice. That's why I'm here today. Also, there's one missing point that was not discussed today. I was at IHOP having lunch when April called me with the devastating news. And I respect the grand jury, but very, very disappointed and hurt of the decision they made. And there's one thing that's missing. I live in that neighborhood, and I drive by Chase Bank almost every day. And I see the altar there when I go to Chase Bank. And it reminds me of these families, the senseless killing of innocent children, the senseless, illogical gun laws that we have in the state that allows for folks out on the street, felons, convicted felons, folks without training, folks without permits, folks that are 1 year after 18 can purchase an assault rifle. This is the outcome of those laws. We have to change that. The district attorney's office, Crime Stoppers is doing everything they can, but we need the community to help pass sensible laws. But I want to ask everybody in the community in the East End to not be afraid to speak up. I know some of you are afraid to speak up in our community. If you saw something, if you were at HEB, if you were at Lowe's, if you were at Home Depot on this night, please call Crime Stoppers. That small piece of evidence is important. Por favor, no tengan miedo por su estado legal. Si ustedes vieron algo, por favor, una pista es muy necesario para traer justicia a la familia Álvarez y que Dios los bendiga a todos. Juntos podemos. Gracias.
Any other questions?
It is part of the ongoing investigation. It will be shown. It will be public. Right now, let us catch this guy. This is the best shot, and that's what I want the public's attention focused on. This face. Help us identify him. Help us catch a killer today. I cannot imagine living with the fact of being responsible for a child's death in this way. And while the grand jury found no probable cause or a no bill, it doesn't mean that you're innocent, Mr. Earls. It means that you were not held criminally accountable. Do all in your power, Mr. Earls, to help us catch the robber. Tell your friends, tell your family, spread this image around. Help us catch a killer.